here in the mountains of Montana, way up above 7,000 feet, and we're driving the 2024 GMC Canyon AT4X. We've also got some keys to the AT4X AEV, which has a bunch of extra off-road goodies. There's a lot going on here, so let us walk you through it. Taking the AT4X over an old mining road in Montana proved the worth of those DSSV dampers and off-road calibrations, allowing the truck's suspension to flex so power could always be put to the ground. We've got some really burly off-road equipment on this AEV. We've got a good set of steel bumpers right there. These wheels are actually designed and developed by AEV, so these are done by people who know what they're talking about. Coming around here to the side, we've got these rock sliders. We put these through their paces earlier today up on the mountains of Montana. All the way coming back, and then all canyons have these flared sides, which I really like. And I like the look of these lights as well. Here for tires, we've got 35-inch Goodyear Wrangler Territory MT, and fun fact, in this case, MT doesn't actually stand for mud terrain, it stands for maximum traction. So just be watchful of that if you're looking for a mud terrain tire. But we put it through its paces today and we found that it gave us really good grip in some really slick conditions. And what you can't see underneath the truck, the AEV adds a whole bunch of extra skid plates made of hot stamped boron steel, which are supposed to be about 3.5 times as strong as a normal skid plate, and it sure seemed like it earlier today. All of these have the DSSV dampers, and they're made by Multimatic. They're a Canadian company, which is kind of a cool thing, and they allow for a lot of flex, they allow for a lot of reach and compression that you wouldn't normally get off-road, and then once you're back on the road, it doesn't beat you up when you're coming home from the trail. Forward motion was halted only once when slick loose stones caused some wheel spin and required a second run at that particular obstacle. We'll chalk that up largely to the driver, me, not using enough loud pedal in that particular instance. And these driving modes are programmed to make a noticeable difference. Baja mode on a slick dirt road caused more tail-out action than you'd find on a Friday night at Hooters. But terrain mode, as an example, provides great one-pedal off-road driving, and that was ideal for the conditions that we were tackling in rural Montana. So we've got our standard tailgate camera back here. This is the one you can see, but you actually can't see a whole bunch more of them. There's two underneath this thing, makes up about 10 different camera views, and they've been smart enough to put a washer down there, so if you're going over a muddy trail, you can wash the camera and make sure you can see what you're going over. I'll be totally honest, I thought it was a gimmick, but it's really useful when you're going over some unfamiliar terrain, trying to position those rocks and getting over them safely. That's a 2.7-liter 4-cylinder turbo engine under the hood, making 310 horsepower and 430 foot-pounds of torque. Now, this thing is not going to win any awards for its exhaust note, but 90% of that torque is available at just 1500 RPM. In other words, right where you need it when you're doing some tough off-road obstacles. This is a good engine, and I think it suits the character of this truck very well. An 8-speed automatic is the transmission. We've already reviewed the interior of the Canyon on multiple occasions, so we won't bore you with a reprise on that. But suffice it to say, the space and its materials can now play with the leaders in this segment, something that probably couldn't have been said for the old truck. Although, your 6'6" presenter finds that the sunroof does rudely intrude on headroom. Now fortunately, anyone who's not of NBA stature won't care, and the sunroof is optional in just about all trims. The Canyon AT4X AEV has a pretty impressive 38.2 degree front approach angle with that steel bumper, and 26 degrees departure. Those are 35-inch Goodyear Wrangler Territory MT tires, which, along with the factory lift, provide 10.7 inches of burly ground clearance. So that's the 2024 GMC Canyon AT4X and the AT4X AEV. We've put it through its paces, we've made sure those DSSV shocks have worked for their lunch today. We've checked out the mountains, we've checked out some sights, and we've definitely put this thing through its paces. For Driving.ca, I'm Matthew Gott.